Why us? Why? Because it's Implicit Bias Radio. I'm your host, Kevon Bordelon. The crew has assembled in the TSPL. We've got weekly whiskeys. We've got changes coming your way. We've got your entertainment for the next 2 hours as we are back on the air. You know, it's funny how life works. Not like funny, haha, like funny. See, life by nature isn't easy. I mean, since the dawn of time, we as humans have been involved in a daily struggle. First, it was just survive. You know, find food, find shelter, Maslow's basic stuff. Just live. Sometimes we might even ponder if that might have just been those things that we referenced as the good old days. Why? Because we could do most of those things with our family. Then maybe even with our community. All you really had to worry about was getting the stuff needed to keep going. Life was much like that through the Middle Ages, if you actually think about it. The only difference was, at that point, some people had more goats than others. After that, we started worrying about all the other stuff. Whether it was having one more goat or a little bit bigger farm, it became about the stuff. What's it evolved into? It's evolved into school, then a job. Doesn't matter what kind of job, but a job. Could be an overnight shift, could be a 9 to 5, could be a 14 on, 14 off, doesn't matter. What does matter, though, is what it means. And what it means is this, is that we end up spending more time away from our families than we probably want to. And that's the great injustice. In order for us to provide for our families, we're actually forced to sacrifice time with them. And it's not easy. But right now, it's the right thing to do. See, the phrase, don't do what's easy, do what's right, is something that's been in my head and on this show and pretty much in a lot of people's lives for over a decade and a half. It sounds good, and it's true. We should strive to do what's right. But by definition, many times what's right, it's just not easy. And on the surface, doing what's right, sometimes we think, oh, it could be easy. In many situations, doing the right thing just means maybe that little bit of extra effort. So something only has to be done once. No big deal, right? It's what our parents taught us to do. But sometimes doing the right thing means stress. It means anxiety. It means things we never wanted to experience in the first place. And it means inviting those things into our lives. This is the difficult part. When we're having to do things that aren't just difficult, but are things we really don't want to do, but we have to. This is why we need faith. This is where faith provides the strength that we need to get through this. If we don't have it, the anxiety, the fear, the stress, they can and will consume us. Faith stands in the way of all of that. Faith can shield us from some of it. But only great faith can shield us from great stress, which means it is an everyday, minute by minute, second by second battle. It's a spiritual fight, not just for our souls, but for our sanity. And that's where this discussion comes full circle. Because the very reason we do the right thing, it's for the people we get up and go to work for every day. It's for your wife, your husband, it's for your children, it's for your parents, your brothers, your sisters, your communities. So on this episode of Implicit Bias, we're going to talk about doing the right thing, not the easy things. We're going to try and solve the problems of the world, and we'll do it with a weekly whiskey in hand. God knows I could use a few. We'll expand our weekly whiskey world as we're going to open up the community to other new areas. We're going to make sure you've got great places to go to get your weekly whiskeys. We're going to make sure you're part of the family as we try to do the right thing on this week's episode of Implicit Bias Radio. Good old times on Implicit Bias Radio. I'm your host, Kevon Bordelon. Welcome back into the Mr. Lester's top secret podcast lair located somewhere in downtown Lafayette. I mentioned we had changes. I didn't mean the first change I'm going to announce, which is normally the Rustic Renegades here. He's not here this week. In his chair is Renee Girard.
I just stole it.
You just stole it. You like that chair. I know you like that
It's
chair.
comfortable.
Yeah, it is.
You know, the bar stools are okay, but the chairs are comfy.
The chairs are comfy. And the other change that actually was the one I was talking about is we are announcing the Implicit Bias Liquor Collective. So if you are looking for a place to get a very specific whiskey, we're going to ask you to go to our Implicit Bias Liquor Collective partners. It's a real easy concept, and we are going to feature whiskeys, liquors that you can only get at our partners' locations. We're starting in Lafayette. Lafayette is our home base. So the Implicit Bias Liquor Collective in the Lafayette area, we've got Benny's up in Opelousas. They'll have featured stuff here on Implicit Bias Radio. We've got Champagne's Market in Crowe, which is where this weekly whiskey is going to come from. And of course, the kind of original one, which was New News Markets, Youngsville, Scott, Milton, Maurice. We're going to have all of them. This week, we're featuring something from Champagne's. We're going to get to that in a minute. First, I want to introduce the crowded bar, which I love seeing a crowded bar, right? Nobody likes an empty bar. A crowded bar is a totally different thing.
Everybody wants to come to our party.
We got a lot of people at the bar this week. Everybody's at the party. Let's start with the one who was one of the OG kind of starters of the party. He is Burley's short pour Pellerin. I hope you got enough in the pour up there, Burley.
Great pour. It's a great pour.
Oh, you got enough? Oh, okay.
And I've already had some. So,
You've already had a ton?
I've had some.
Oh, yeah, you can try and turn that back around now. Anyway, standing next to Burley, she's actually not sitting for this segment. She'll be back in the chair in a minute. Kathleen, the real deal Terrio, it's been a while. We are so thrilled to have you back.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited to be back. It has been way too long.
And
thanks to babies and life.
Look, and yeah, like I said, it used to be relatively easy, and there's a lot to juggle now, right?
Yes. Glad to be back.
So we are thrilled to have you back, and I'm thrilled that I think this particular whiskey is going to be right in your wheelhouse because you're not the big whiskey drinker, but you kind of like it.
But this is good.
This is okay. We'll get to that in a minute.
Okay, sorry.
Let me introduce.
My bad.
No, it's okay.
I'm excited.
Let me introduce the person who brought us this week's weekly whiskey from Champagne's Market in Crowe, Brandon Oye. So, Brandon, your official title, are you the liquor manager up there? You're going to need to eat that microphone, by the way. You'll have to get close to it.
Technically, yes.
Okay.
Not unofficially, yes.
Technically, unofficially, the liquor manager.
Technically, store manager.
Oh, well, there
This
you go.
is just
Okay.
something that I picked up along the way.
Oh, you're a bourbon whiskey guy. I know you're a bourbon whiskey guy because you've been at Implicit Birthday the last couple of years.
Correct.
Yeah, so we love that you're here. We love that you guys are a part of this now and that we have something that we can taste and sample. And we're actually going to dive into this. You were engaged in picking this. So before we actually kind of tell people what it is, this is basically your pick?
Yes. So I'm in charge of all the picks at the store up until maybe the last two. I was the person that made the decisions on all the picks.
Okay.
Some of them might not be the best, but I try and hit a broad audience, you know?
Well, look, and that's the unique thing about a pick. You're never going to get that barrel of whiskey ever again if you buy that barrel.
Correct.
So I absolutely love the thought premise behind the unique bottle, right? I mean, there are a lot of people out there who try and collect whiskeys because they want labels, they want to have certain things. Yeah. I'm more like, I want liquid in the bottle that you will never get again. And this is a great way to do it. So Good Old Times is not something you see in Louisiana a lot, is it?
Not very often, no.
I have never seen Good Old Times in Louisiana other than your location. Now, I haven't done a ton of hunting in the New Orleans area, and I'm sure they've got some. But in the Lafayette area, this is a unique bottle.
We're the first.
Okay, so what made you pick this? And let's tell people what it is now. This is a Good Old Times, as I understand it, Amburana and honey finish.
Yes.
So for those who don't know what an Amburana finish is, it's a Brazilian wood that gives liquor, particularly bourbon, a very cinnamony, almost cinnamon roll sweetness when you finish it with that. And it's got a honey barrel finish, correct? So you've got those two blends. How did that happen?
So Good Times does finishes. That's their thing. I chose this one based off of the Penelope Rio craze.
Okay.
So I was looking for something to put in the place of that.
Yeah.
We didn't get a lot of the first couple of releases, so I wanted to offer something to my customers that they can get that similar flavor profile, maybe at a higher proof. It just so happened it was 8 years old and a lot higher proof point.
So first of all, number one, you said 8 years old.
Yes.
That is, to me, a benchmark of a lot of bourbons. You'll get some stuff good at 4, 5, 6 years, but to really find distinction in a bourbon, I think you've almost got to hit that 8-year mark as a general rule. There's always exceptions. So the fact that you've got the age on it, the right age on it, would really help. The second part of that is I got a bottle of the original Rio release from Penelope. It was truly unique with regards to Amberana finish, because that's what that was. For me, it was way too sweet.
I agree.
You couldn't drink a ton of it. It was a cool bottle to have. We drank it. We liked it. But it was not one that you'd sit there and have and go, man, I want this throughout the night, right? I want to have more than one of these. I can drink this all night. And then you kind of hit me right in the feels. When you said 120 proof, that's a really, really great proof point, because we are proof hounds. We're going to nose hump these, Czechoslovakian crystal glasses all night. We're going to want to get those beautiful vapors that come off of something at that proof. And I'm really curious as to what the crew here is going to think about this. So, Renee, you like to drink yours specifically. You don't like our Czechoslovakian crystal. You want your Glencairn.
No, those rocks glasses get me in trouble.
It's too much whiskey.
Yes, it's too much at one time. That's why I like the Glencairns. I can see and limit myself.
Yeah, you're looking at about a half ounce there.
Yeah.
So
Instead of drinking 3 big ones, I drink like 2 small ones.
no, instead of drinking 3 big ones, you drink 6 small ones. That's what you do.
Well, okay.
Yeah, math is a thing.
But it's I was bad at math. But
Shocker.
It's spaced over time.
It is.
So I just like smaller glasses, and especially with the smaller opening, I get to nose hump it a lot better. So I get a lot better smells out
Ring
of
the
it.
bell. That was good. Renee normally doesn't go there. That was
Yeah.
good. All right. So what do you think of this good
It's-
old times Amberana honey
and-
barrel finish?
And I'm not a proof hound like y'all are. I like, my wheelhouse is 90 to 100. But this doesn't drink like a 120. To me, it tastes a lot smoother, a lot milder. And I'm getting a slight licorice.
Interesting.
Not a lot, just a very slight. And I'm not a licorice fan, but the cinnamon, maybe a little nutmeg,
Yeah.
To it.
I can see nutmeg on this.
and it's unique. I like this one.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah,
it's very tasty.
This one's interesting. All right, let's go to the bar. Kathleen, so you were excited. I don't know that we've seen you excited before, but not about whiskey. So I'm curious as to how you think this one sits down, because I've never seen you excited about a weekly whiskey before.
I just never guessed that this was 120.
Okay.
I would have probably said, I don't know, maybe 100.
Okay.
Maybe a little hotter than that. So when you said that, I was shocked, because that is not my like you said. I'm more of the lighter proof. So it smells really good. There's a flower, and Caleb, I don't know where you're at,
Yeah.
but there's some sort of flower that I keep smelling. I don't know if it's like a magnolia or something when I smell it.
Let's do our Caleb impression. It smells like a honeysuckle, but only a honeysuckle that, when you went to your grandmother's house and she had that big oak tree that was about 200 yards back, and then she had some bushes, and in that bushes there was a honeysuckle bush entwined, where you got the honeysuckle and the bush kind of on the nose. So it was just a hint of honeysuckle. That's what this reminds me of. That's our best Caleb.
Yeah, there you go. That's exactly.
in the ditch.
In the ditch,
Yeah,
yes.
it's gotta
And
be the
and it's
honeysuckle in the ditch.
Yeah, and it's in a ditch. Okay, so there's a floral note that you got.
floral. But when I taste it, I get, which is really weird, but big red, like the gum,
Yeah.
and pepper together.
Okay.
That's like, and I love big. I don't chew gum, but if I had to ever pick a piece of gum, it would be big red, because I like cinnamon a lot.
Okay.
And then like cracked pepper.
Yeah.
You mix those together and chew a piece of gum. That's what it is. to me.
Okay. Sound to me like this is something you would continue to drink.
Absolutely.
Interesting, because
I've never heard of it. I've never even seen it.
Most people don't walk in and open up as a first sip of the night 120 proof.
No,
They start with
God, no.
something lower. This one sits on the palate and you're like, oh,
It sits really well.
yeah.
And it's not that back burn that just is like, oh,
No.
you can't do it. It sits so well. And that's typically my problem is I'll take a sip and it's either too hot in the back or it just sits funky. And this is really good. Good choice.
All right, let's go to Short Pour Pellerin, one of the OG crew here on Implicit Bias Radio. What are you getting off of this, Burley? As Burley has the Implicit Bias Whiskey Tasting Journal.
I am getting a lot of what she said also. Big red,
Okay.
red hots, the cinnamon.
And you should with that Amberana finish.
and we don't see it often, but it seems like every time we've had it here, I've liked it. And I'm not big on finishes. I'm not big on port finishes or crazy finishes
Agreed.
or anything, but I do like this. The honey kind of threw me off at first, but it's not even, we're not even talking about it.
It's a counterbalance.
It
which
is.
Which is
It
how it's
is.
done so well.
I'm curious of the mash bill on this because it's got to be a higher rye bourbon.
You would think.
It's got to be because I'm getting my burn when I push my tongue to my palate.
Yep.
I'm getting the burn. It's not uncomfortable at all.
No.
It does not drink like 120, although if it would, I'd probably like it even more because I do gravitate towards those. Definitely a fall season type whiskey. I smell holidays. I taste holidays, cinnamon, nutmeg.
Yeah.
The burn, the smoke. It's slightly oily. It's not. I wouldn't say buttery, but it's got a little cling in the glass.
I was going to say it is a little viscous,
but
it's got a long finish.
but not buttery in the sense where we tend to find some of the
No,
ones that we really, really like.
I think I know exactly what you mean because yes, it has a buttery characteristic, but it is not buttery on the palate.
It's not
which is really
Mrs.
interesting.
Butterworth's.
Correct.
It's not over. It's not too much. It's a great pick, by the way. It really is.
So here's what I'm going to do while we get the microphone over back to Brandon because I want to get if we're actually on point here. So as the microphone slides over, I'm going to tell you what I get that's a little different off of this. I get the long finish. I get that back of the palate, back in the corners of the cheeks, the back of the throat. I get that cinnamon amberana. The honey just brightens it just a bit. And then I get like dark chocolate. I get real dark chocolate on the back, like 70% cacao, 72%, 80% cacao. And I'm like, man, it really makes that finish. To your point, Burley, it makes it holiday-esque.
Can you imagine?
Like, this is one you got to get the microphone and we'll do it in a second. Okay, go ahead.
Can you imagine eating a piece of chocolate with this right now?
Oh, I think it would just make this explode. It might even make it explode a little more on the front of the palate, which would make it just that good. So here's the question I have. Are we hitting all the right notes here, Brandon?
I wouldn't be the one to be able to tell you that, to be honest. Still on that journey
Yeah, that's okay.
myself. I gravitated toward this in particular barrel because it didn't have such a, like, I found it still had the cinnamon and the honey flavor that the Rio has. It just wasn't as artificial.
It's not overdone.
Yes.
There's not too much of it. You get just enough of it without, and it's, I think why I say many of the other Amberana finishes I've had, they're end of night cordial, they're almost dessert. This is an all-night drinker. This is one that if you've got something to celebrate or you just need a few drinks because it's been a long day, this one I could sit down with, and man, I'm telling you, on the back of the palate, I just keep getting that chocolatey flavor, that chocolatey note that makes this just so welcoming, so embracing. I hate to say that it's kind of like that long, warm hug that you just felt like you needed at times. And it just sits with you. It makes you feel a little bit better when you're done and you go, okay, I might need another one of these pretty soon. That's my thought.
It's a very unique barrel for sure.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to ask. Don't tell us. Do you know the retail of what this should go for in your store? Just that's a yes or a no. Okay. So we are all now going to get to play. Number one, what would you pay for the What Would You Pay Championship Belt Chain presented by Box Drop of Lafayette? And we're going to rate this on the Morse Whiskey rating code, which is red, I wouldn't drink it even if it was free for the uninitiated. Yellow, I would only drink this if it was free. Green, I would buy this. Or blue, I would seek this out. So Renee, we'll start with you while we slide that microphone over to Burley. Renee, where does this land on the Morse Whiskey rating code for you? And what would you pay for this?
This I would definitely give a blue.
Wow.
Yeah, for 120.
Mikey likes it.
Yeah, for 120. Yeah, it's unusual, but it doesn't drink like a 120. I like Kathleen's description: chewing Big Red while crunching black peppercorns. I just, very unique. I put this at an $85 bottle.
$85 bottle. Okay, yeah. Kathleen, we'll let you go because Burley's busy writing in the Implicit Bias Whiskey Tasting Journal.
I know, it's taking Caleb's spot. I would definitely give us a blue.
Okay.
For the same reason. The drink is not a 120. So I could definitely drink this.
You would seek this out.
Absolutely. In
Okay.
fact, I might go to Karen Crow tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I was going in, but you kind of took my number. So I'm going to go a little higher. I'm going to say 97.
97. So we've got an 85, a 97. Burley, rating and what would you pay?
Definitely a blue.
Okay.
No question. It would hit so many different people at the same time. Again, we're drinking it neat. I think it would soften it up even more if someone were to have it over ice.
Yep.
Maybe with a splash of water.
A couple of drops of water would absolutely help with this.
So I would give it a blue for sure. I'm going to go down a little bit, just trying to play the market a little bit. I'm going to say $67.
$67. So we've got a 67, we've got an 85, we've got a 97, correct, Kathleen?
Yeah.
And I get to go. So first of all, unanimous blue. This is a pick that I am going to have on my bar, and this is going to be one of those special bottles that you're like, I'm going to open that when I want to remember something special because I'm not going to get it again. When it's gone, it's Kaiser Soze. It's gone. I'm going to go double finished, 8 years. So the typical rule is $10 for every year in the barrel. So you'd say 80 and start there. Then you go double finish and you start jacking it up. What I know is this. I've had bottles at 110, 115, 120 that aren't this good. They've absolutely been out there. I've had bottles and I'm just like, I well overpaid for this. And if you're buying secondary market, I guarantee you're overpaying for bottles that are not this good. So I'm coming in at 110. That's where I'm coming in. I would pay 110 for this all day long. So Brandon, who wins the What Would You Pay championship belt chain? Who's closest to the actual price in the store?
You actually almost hit it on the nail.
Really?
$112.99.
$112.99. I mean, that's where this should be. I have no doubt about this. So I get to wear the What Would You Pay championship belt chain for the first time in a long time. We're going to pass that around. A unanimous blue, 3 cheapskates in the Top Secret podcast layer, and somebody who got it right. That's all I'm going to say. We're going to come back. More Implicit Bias Radio right after this. Implicit Bias trying to do the right thing, not the easy thing, which a lot of times we are also asking our politicians to do. I'm your host, Kevon Bordelon. Welcome back to the Mr. Lester's Top Secret podcast layer. Don't forget to go visit Louisiana's only 5-star restaurant between New Orleans and Houston, Mr. Lester Steakhouse, Cypress Bayou Casino. You don't want to miss that meal. We've got a fantastic crew here in the TSPL, the Top Secret podcast layer, as I said, somewhere in downtown Lafayette. Renee Girard is in the Renegades chair this week. You're sitting over there being comfy?
I'm very comfy.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
Well, you didn't realize that I went and flattened all of Caleb's tires, so I can have his chair.
Yeah.
He's going to be pissed when he finds that out.
Yeah, and we might have to edit that. I don't know. Anyway, at the bar, we've got Burley Short Pour Pellerin, Kathleen, the Real Deal Terrio. It is great to have y'all back, and we are sipping on good old times Amberana Honey Finish, a barrel pick available at Champagnes of Carencro here just north of Lafayette, and unanimous blue.
Yeah.
Here on Implicit Bias Radio, the highest ranking we can give, a fantastic bottle. Make sure you get some of what they have left. All right.
You know, there's a problem, though.
What?
Deep blue is kind of full.
Well, okay, we got to talk about that, and I don't know that we can put this one in deep blue because it is so different. It is so different.
But the rule was
I know. We'll figure that out. All right.
Either that or we got to drink more of it.
The story. I'm sure you'll have no problem doing that. We can
put a couple of drops.
Yeah, as Short Pour says, put a couple of drops. This story is one that, man, I think about this story, unfortunately, probably way more than I should, because it ties into almost every story that's out there right now in some way, shape, or form. If you've ever seen the documentary on Netflix called The Octopus Murders, where literally every murder is tied to all these other things, and it goes back to a software deal back in the 80s where the United States government was basically figuring out how to data mine everything at a very early time. Anyway, the Epstein case, it's tied to everything. The case that doesn't exist for the guy who didn't kill himself over a case that apparently is allegedly a hoax, where we had all the documentation and it was sitting on the attorney general's desk and then didn't exist and wasn't there, and that Ghislaine Maxwell is in jail for and now willing apparently to testify. I mean, you've got so many inconsistencies around this story. And if you listen to last week's show, we gave our big theory, which is it's real and it's being used on the back end by someone to blackmail somebody else. Right? Whether it's now the good guys have it and they're blackmailing the bad guys, or the bad guys still have it and they're blackmailing the good guys. Somebody's got it, and it is being utilized, as Captain Jack Sparrow would say, as leverage. Yeah. This story, though, is the one that really blows my mind. Because the ask, if you remember, when they said, oh, we're going to release some stuff. So we're going to release the files. There are no files. Oh, we're going to release them. They release some stuff. And then they say, we're going to release video of the cell the entire night. And we actually covered this on the show. Wired Magazine took the video, looked at it, ran it through some different programs to analyze it, and said, Adobe was utilized on this to edit the video, and there's at least 1 minute to 3 minutes of video missing. Well, guess what? Anybody want to take a guess what apparently now the FBI and the DOJ found?
They found a minute.
They found a missing minute, allegedly.
No, they found a minute.
They found a minute.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, there was, like we had said, there was 3 missing.
Up to 3, yes.
Yes, they found so there's possibly 2 more missing, or did they even exist at the time? We don't know. That part we don't know.
Again, I just think there's a lot of inconsistency. So first, let's start with Burley. I'm curious as to just your thoughts on all this, Burley, because you were with Implicit Bias when we started this show in 2020. We have been talking about Epstein on this show since 2020, before all this became a thing. What are your thoughts now that it's not a thing, it's a thing? We've got video, we don't have video. It's the great inconsistency.
When you said about the octopus files,
The octopus murders,
Octopus
yeah.
murders.
Yeah.
that kind of made me think there are so many legs to that story. And far-reaching, much more far-reaching than I think many of us ever realized at the beginning.
Yeah.
Not so much the what, but the who. And then from those who's it tied to? What was it tied to? Why were those two intertwined? And so the names now are the meat and potatoes of the whole deal, along with the dates, if that ever came to light. I think that's going to be a big part of the what.
What we end up one day maybe finding out, maybe not finding out.
Maybe not, because that's where you're going to figure out who, what, when, where, and how.
So I don't make predictions on this show. Y'all know this. I like to say this is what I think. I'll give an opinion. A prediction is a totally different thing. I'm going to make some predictions about this. And we may not see this in my lifetime, so I'm kind of backing my way out of this, right? But what I will say is this. When you say who, politicians, both parties.
100%.
I don't necessarily know names, but I guarantee you
100%.
my prediction is politicians, both parties.
Whether it's politicians today or who
previously.
have become politicians or who were politicians and are no longer politicians.
Agreed. That's number one. Number two, entertainers. Big name entertainers who could be involved with intelligence agencies, because we know that the intelligence agencies will a lot of times utilize entertainers and work with them to get things done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Claire Danes has a very famous interview on a late night talk show where she started talking about going in and working with people from the CIA and all this, and they kind of cut it off and moved on. I mean, we've heard lots of people say we've gone into the Chuck Berry discussion back in the 60s. We've talked about the musical connections.
Chuck Barris.
Chuck Barris, not Barry.
Not
Thank
Berry.
you. I misspoke. Chuck
Jo-
Barris.
not Johnny B. Good.
I was not thinking Johnny B. Good. Correct. I was
Gong
thinking-
Show.
Yep. So, Kathleen, I want to change the conversation here because you have unique experience being a former sheriff's deputy about how you get film and where cameras are and how frequently they run inside of jail facilities.
Ooh, okay. I never worked in the jail.
Okay, so you never worked in
No,
jail.
I've never worked in the jail, so I don't want to speak on that. As far as I don't want to misspeak on that
Okay.
because I never worked in the jail.
I guess my question is this. You've worked with body cams.
Mm-hmm.
You've worked with the surveillance portion of law enforcement.
Yes, we used to have to recover video all the time for different.
So first of all, how hard is it to recover video? Is it difficult or?
I mean, I'm sure I have been out for a couple years, but it always depended on the system.
Okay.
If they had a newer system, we had the technology to be able to retrieve it pretty easy. It was an antiquated system. Sometimes it took a little bit more patience
Okay.
and trying to learn the system, then be able to pull it if it was pullable at all. So it's come a long way, though. I can tell you that.
So what you're telling me is that if somebody did this a couple years ago, so say somebody didn't kill themselves in 2022, 23, 24, the technology to get the video that allegedly is missing should be pretty easy.
Yes, and if it has been deleted, it should be easy to get as well.
Really, really interesting. Because what I found even more interesting was there were pictures released at the time that someone allegedly didn't kill themselves. Right? And the jail cell where they had the crime scene tape looked very different from the video of said jail cell door at the time.
Yeah.
Didn't it?
Nothing was consistent.
There were a lot of inconsistencies, which makes me wonder if, I mean, when you think about the ability that we have with AI today, that the general public has with AI today, don't tell me that government agencies didn't have significantly better versions of 2 years ago.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know what the play is of why they say now they have a minute.
Well, here's what I want to know. You've got a minute.
Just
show it
release
to
it.
us. Yeah,
Get
show
over
it to
it.
us. Let's see that minute.
Everybody really wants to know if he's alive or dead, so just show it.
Well, and I mean, the more we dig up and the more it comes out.
Dig up. Nice pun.
Yeah.
Ring the bell.
Is he really dead?
Oh, that's a whole
Is he
other
really
question.
dead?
Yeah, is he really dead? Did he go in witness protection program because of
I mean,
the
he's a really
dirt?
ugly dude. I would think you'd be able to find him pretty easy.
Well, it
They'd
depends
have
on where
to
they
do some
put him.
change- Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
you're
but
right.
I mean, plastic surgeries and everything else, and he had stupid amounts of money. He can
Well,
disappear.
okay.
I
and
don't
they
think his
can-
girlfriend would have given him.
Hold
I guess
on.
maybe she would've
Hold
known.
on. So let's back up here.
She's in jail taking the rap for
You
this.
said he's got stupid amounts of money. If you go into WITSEC, the U.S. government is paying for those surgeries, which
Right.
means they have an unlimited amount of money.
right.
So if in
And
fact he
if
did
in
go,
fact he was working for intelligence services, gathering videos on certain people, who's to say that he just disappeared?
I mean, I do think that he died. I don't think he killed himself, though.
Oh yeah.
so
Well-
there's okay. Now we're getting to the real deep conspiracy part of it. Where,
Yeah, oops.
you know, well, first of all, people's earlobes, if you don't know, they're like fingerprints. Everyone's earlobe is very different.
Very
And if you go back and look at pictures of him prior to being arrested and all this, and you look at the pictures of his earlobes and then the earlobe of what was allegedly him as a corpse coming out, they're very different. Much like the doors on the jail cell.
Yeah.
And if you look into what intelligence agencies were able to do with masking going back to the Bush administration, I mean, there is a documented case where the CIA's director of disguise went into the Bush Oval Office, had a conversation with him, sat there. He did not know who it was. He did not know. Now, it was him. Anyway, literally the person took the mask off and he was like, what the heck? That's how real the mask looked. And that was early 2000s.
Yeah.
So it's even better now.
So how much better is it today?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he go into WITSEC? And by the way, WITSEC, yes, there are documented cases, don't believe us, where WITSEC has faked deaths
Oh yeah.
Oh,
to
yeah.
put people into witness protection.
Well, yeah, because I
Absolutely.
mean, if it's somebody that's very wanted by people that they want to get rid of him, yeah, he's going to disappear. I mean, they'll put him in, northern Canada somewhere in a cabin, and
Yeah.
you'll never find him again.
Probably smoking a blunt somewhere.
Yeah.
living a freaking high life.
I want to ask a quick question.
Yeah, we don't have much time. We got to wrap.
Who do you think, if anybody killed him, who was the one person what name comes to mind?
Oh.
Clinton.
I was about to say,
I mean, I
everybody
was gonna
knows
say, why do we all think Clinton?
just because very few.
Because of Bill's reputation and how often he went to the island.
Not just that, it's that because while we might know someone who made a bad decision and took a very permanent solution to a very temporary problem, very few of us are connected to over 30 or 27 people or more who've had the same thing happen under really crazy circumstances. By the way, we are happy on implicit bias. We are doing the right thing, not the easy thing, and none of us are suicidal. We'll prove that when we come back for the next segment. Fun story to wrap up hour one on this week's episode of Implicit Bias Radio. I'm your host, Kevon Bordelon. We got a great crew here in the Mr. Lester's top secret podcast lair located somewhere in downtown Lafayette. You know, doing the easy thing a lot of times isn't right. And that's what we're talking about here on this week's episode. And this time, the easy thing definitely wasn't right. This is one of those stories where we don't talk about fun stuff like this all the time. But when I saw this pop, I was like, oh, we got to do this. So On 3 Sports, we're going to give them credit for breaking this story. And I cannot believe this is not a bigger story. I want to get the names right, which is why I've got to make sure I read here. So apparently last year, the University of Memphis football team was getting ready to play the University of Texas San Antonio, the Roadrunners. On 3 uncovered that Memphis defensive back Taj Rael sent the playbook for Memphis to the quarterback of University of Texas San Antonio before the game. And they have the texts to prove it. So imagine going into a college football game in 2024 and the week before the game saying, hey, I play for my team. I play on defense for my team. I'm going to send the defensive playbook to the quarterback for the other team. Now, the real question becomes, and I'm putting this to the crew, why?
That coach really upset him.
Could be that the coach upset him. I mean, he could have just been disgruntled.
I'm going to bench you this week. Oh, yeah? I'm going to show you. You know?
Burley, you've got an opinion on this.
Gambling?
Oh.
Got to be gambling.
So I'm with you. I look at this and I think we have gotten to the point where college athletes are all getting paid. And everybody has got to get mine, right? Especially these young recruits coming in. Young recruit might walk in. I mean, I have personal knowledge of a recruit out of the Acadiana area, somewhere around Lafayette, who, and I'm going to go back 3 years, was being recruited through the portal. This recruit was on the phone in the back of a vehicle taken from the airport after coming back from said recruiting trip and said, okay, $750,000. I want this apartment. I want this type of car. This is the type of food I'm going to eat. This is where I'm going to eat. This is where I want all my gift cards. This is what I'm looking for. And it's all legal because it's NIL. So I'm just not going to disclose names here. Personal knowledge of this. And it's like, that guy got $1 million to play 1 year of college football. 1 year as a senior. You mean to tell me that somebody who might say, I didn't get paid by the NIL, I didn't get paid by the collective, might not go, here's my chance. Here's my chance to make sure that, say I only got paid 50 grand. Well, I'm gonna go drop 25 grand on this game where we're a heavy favorite. We are a favorite by 25, 30, 40 points and make sure that I make a lot more money. I mean, we're playing hypotheticals here. I'm not going to accuse the young man, but Kathleen, I mean, you having some experience, again, where gambling was illegal a lot of times when you were in law enforcement, it was a lot more prevalent than people probably think, correct?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you could do it at a table and, I mean, at someone's house and it wouldn't matter, you know?
Okay, private game is one thing.
Right, but I mean,
private game,
but make it an open, type of situation.
But private game is not talking that kind of money.
Correct.
No. Unless you had Kavan's house.
No, unless you're betting Kavan's house.
Well, we're using monopoly money.
Well,
Yeah.
in those instances, those backroom games where the house is taking a cut, that's what makes it illegal.
Correct.
Right.
You can sit in the front of the bar and the four of us could play poker.
Correct.
But if there's somebody from the bar dealing the chips, that's the problem.
Yep.
Right.
Because then it becomes illegal.
I just find this hysterical. The even better part might be that San Antonio only won like by 2 points. It was like a 42-44 ball game.
I was just about to ask that. What was the score?
Yeah, it was like 40. It was like 44-42 UTSA over Memphis at the in that game. And you had their playbook, dude.
Yeah, but
how bad of a quarterback are you?
Well, no, the quarterback didn't want to make it seem too obvious. You want to win.
That's too close.
But
Well,
maybe the team was really bad.
That's a field goal ball game. But here's the deal. If you're Memphis in that game, you're probably just playing the spread. You're not playing necessarily to win.
Right.
If you're betting, if I'm on the Memphis team, we might have been favored by 15 or 20 in that game. You don't have to win. You just have to not win by too much. And they ended up losing.
Did they acknowledge that he did receive it and he did use it?
Oh, they have the text.
I understand
from
but
one
did
to the other.
Did the quarterback acknowledge that he used it?
He acknowledged. He acknowledged. I got it. This is what it was. I mean, at that point, it's like, well, how do you not use it? And he could say he didn't use it.
Was there an investigation to find out?
Well, this is the crazy thing. On3 broke the story, and it's not national news. Like, this should have been the front headline on ESPN for a week. I mean, remember this, Renee. Renee, remember this.
UTSA and Memphis aren't.
That's what I was going to say. They're not big
Doesn't matter,
schools.
but it doesn't matter. It's college football.
Yeah,
and here's
true.
what matters.
But if it's happening here, then it's happening.
Remember
Big
how
schools.
big of a story it was when the New Orleans Saints were allegedly putting up money in the locker room, and if somebody got
a
knocked out of
bounty
a
gate?
game, remember how long we heard about that? And that was just one team trying to play defense. That wasn't some team playing cheating, getting the other team's playbook, right?
Right.
When was this? When did this happen?
Last year before last.
Is the
I
guy
mean,
still playing?
that I don't know. I did not go that far into it. I was like, this to me, just the fact that the information got sent, that's all that matters here. If
Can
they're
they-
still playing, it's a big deal.
Can they take the money back? I mean, I guess if it's
Well,
if it's
okay.
gambling, then no, I get that. But like if he had an NIL deal,
Oh, no idea. No idea. And we don't know if he had an NIL deal at the time. I mean,
That might be why he did it.
yeah, we don't
yeah.
know. We don't know officially that he was gambling.
Yeah.
We're taking guesses as to what would prompt someone to do this. So it's either someone who's
Coach
really mad,
Coach really upset him.
really mad, or really had. I mean, remember,
Financial gain.
this is how prolific gambling has become in college sports. Alabama's head baseball coach 3 years ago now got caught calling a buddy of his who was in a major league stadium to go place a $10,000 bet against Alabama because he knew that his starting pitcher, his Friday night starter, wasn't going to play against LSU. So he bet against Alabama to lose 10 grand and had a buddy in another state, in another stadium do it. Please don't believe me on this. Go look this up.
See, and
That's the story according to ESPN.
and
That's
that was the thing that got me upset with the Pete Rose thing. He bet on baseball on his team, but he bet for his team. Now, when you're playing or managing or what, you're betting for your team to win.
yep.
Dude, I don't have a problem with that. Now, if he would have been betting against his team to
Yep.
win, now I got a problem because then you're going to fix a game. So if somebody wants to bet on a sport and he's in control somewhat of a, coach, player, whatever, if he's betting to win, well, dude, you're supposed to win. So you need to bet to win. If you bet against, now we got a problem.
Yep, absolutely. This is, I find, a really just interesting story. It's why I was like, look, we got to talk about this because are you kidding me? I mean, from the files of, really? It's out there, Kathleen.
I just feel like sports these days are not. I mean, you're not even watching the game anymore. There's so much extra stuff. It
Ring
kind of
the
is
bell for
annoying.
Kathleen because
Kind of annoying. That's why we quit watching it.
All the online bettings and all the different bets you can
the
do on it. Oh my
DraftKings
God.
and all that.
It's
just-
crazy.
it's not even worth watching. I feel like you already know who's going to win.
yeah, I kind of agree. And it usually seems like the officials are determining it too.
Between the lack of interest in the actual game being played, it's more the sideline story of the players. Caitlin Clark,
Wait, who's she?
The basketball player.
Who?
The basketball player.
WNBA.
Yeah, nobody knows who plays in that.
It's no.
Well, you know who Caitlin Clark is.
Come on.
The
It's
prob-
that,
the
it's that
problem-
white girl that's playing.
The problem is that her story, being because she's
Yeah.
that much better than everyone else, has now spurned all the other stories of the girls being bad and whatnot. And it's a failing league. We all know that. But the storyline is not the game anymore.
Correct.
It's the players in the game.
And that, again, that's a great call out because at the end of the day, sports should be, my opinion, a true escape from all the garbage we deal with every day.
Entertainment.
And it's that constant creep of everything else that sucks in the world that doesn't want to give you 5 to 10 minutes to just live. To sit there with whether it's your son, your daughter, your wife, your husband, your father, your grandfather, your brother, your sister, and watch the game and yell with each other about the game and get upset because we all knew that was a strike when the umpire called it a ball or that was not holding or they're calling holding on one team and won't call holding on the other. Just enjoy that and be done with it and have that 3 hours. They don't want you to have that anymore. They want everything now.
Everything. And that's why all the commercials are geared towards everything but the game.
Sometimes I think it's about the viewer that they don't have.
Mm-hmm.
They're always going after that extra viewer, right? Well, who watches sports? Go back 30 years. It was traditionally just guys watching sports, but they were always highly rated because a lot of guys would watch sports and it was what was on. Well, then they started going, oh, well, let's see. Men are 49% of the population as a ballpark. What about that 51%? How can we get the viewer that we don't have? How can we get that, not the bird in the hand and keep it, but the bird in the bush? And they're starting to just burn the bushes at this point, and they're not the good burning bushes. These bushes are just burning to the ground.
In the last 10 years with ESPN politicizing the
Terribly.
comments and whatnot, that kind of stuff, that the bands on the back of the helmets, the wording at the end of the end zone, those kinds of things.
Let it go.
And then it would upset people like us, but it's attracting somebody who wasn't watching
Funny
before.
part is, it's not attracting enough people. You know what is? Implicit bias radio. If you don't get hour 2 in your market in Vidalia, if you don't get hour 2 in Ruston or New Orleans, make sure you call your station, tell them hour 2 is always more fun. We want more implicit bias radio. Good old times on hour 2 of Implicit Bias Radio. I'm your host, Kevon Bordelon. Man, we got a fun crew here for this show. At the bar, Kathleen, the real deal Terrio. Kathleen, you having fun this week coming back?
Absolutely.
It's
been
good
too
to
long.
have you back. Yes, it has been too long, and I'm glad that you like our weekly whiskey, the good old times from Champagne's Market in Carolina.
I know. I'm really glad it's not a bad one for my first one back.
Well, I don't know that we ever have bad whiskey.
Okay,
I mean,
not
there's
a bad
that old
one, but
saying.
not one I don't like.
This is one that I think hits you right in the feels.
Oh yeah, this
Awesome.
is a good one.
Awesome. Burley Short Pour Pellerant also at the bar. Good to have you back. And Burley, I appreciate you coming in on short notice because Caleb, the Rustic Renegade, I talked to him earlier today. And he's like, hey, by the way, can't make it. And I'm like, you're killing me.
No worries. Glad to be able to be here. It's always fun to come back.
Have another weekly whiskey. You can soothe
And
the aches and pains of this world that make
tweaked
life
my
hard.
back
right?
a little bit, and this is just what the doctor ordered.
At
right
120
here, so
proof, have a couple more, and
it's
you won't
it's
feel that at
It's
all.
medicine for the body.
Which actually is the thing about whiskey, right? That's initially what it was looked at. It was looked at as an elixir, medicine for the body. Fun fact, if you do your history research, during Prohibition, whiskey was not completely illegal. Whiskey was still sold during Prohibition. Renee, do you remember how it was sold? Because I know you were alive back then.
I do.
It was actually
Kathleen, I thought was going to spit the whiskey through her nose on that one.
it was actually a medicine
You had to have what, Burley?
Hadacol.
Well, you had to have a prescription for it.
prescription.
Oh,
It was a
okay.
medicine.
You could get a prescription from a doctor for whiskey that
Right.
would be filled by a licensed pharmacist,
Right.
But
And-
it was whiskey.
but it was
Yeah.
whiskey.
Yeah.
But in local Louisiana lore, that would have been Dudley
Dudley LeBlanc.
LeBlanc
Hadacol
with
and Carry
Hadacol.
On.
That's right.
His follow-up to Hadacol was a product called Carry On.
Okay.
That was after he sold Hadacol.
Y'all need to teach me because apparently this is new to me.
Hadacol was a Happy Day company. Dudley LeBlanc was a Louisiana state senator
Okay.
from this area.
Yep.
And he had a tonic. It was an energy tonic.
An elixir.
An
as
elixir. Okay.
Called Hadacol. And he would go around the Hadacol caravan. And we're talking major people like Hank Williams, Elvis. They were all on the Hadacol caravan at one time. He would go around the state.
I'm guessing Jerry Lee Lewis was probably
Oh,
there if it was about
100%.
that time.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
Hadacol cures what ails you.
Everything, yeah. And then he sold the company for a very good amount of money, and it contained the warehouse with a bottle of Hadacol in it,
Interesting.
and then started up another company called Carry On.
I'll put it to you this way. I came across a sign that was 3x6.
Okay.
One of those old metal
Yeah.
signs like you see.
Porcelain coated.
About a year and a half ago or so. And it was in bad shape. And the guy would not let it go for less than $1,800.
Wow. Learn
Because
something new every day. I love it.
Those who know.
Kuzan Dud.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Kuzan Dud.
So this good old times is an absolute blue. It's a unanimous top rated whiskey on this show. Renee, I'm really curious as to what you, as the only certified master tobacconist in the state of Louisiana, would pair with this. It's just a little sweet, but not too sweet. It's well balanced. It's got proof to it. It's got just a little bit of aggression. It drinks very smooth. What are you smoking with this?
I'm thinking, that's why I was trying to prolong you talking so I could go through the humidor and picture all my different cigars. The Oz Family Cigar Caratoba.
Okay.
It's a brand new cigar that they came out with about a month ago. It's not a sweet cigar. Because it is sweet, you don't want a sweet cigar. They would just they would conflict with each other. Too much sweet. It's got a slight chocolatey flavor to it.
Okay. And might pull out the chocolate on the back end of
Because
this.
we were talking about the dark chocolates
Yeah.
would go with. I think that cigar would go very good with this because it's not, like I said, it's not a sweet cigar, but you get a slight chocolate flavor because of the tobaccos that Tim Osterner uses in it. I think it would go great with this.
So do you know what kind of wrapper's on that cigar? I mean, can you give us a little bit more about it?
It's brown tobacco.
The brown tobacco. Okay.
Yes.
Unique.
Yes, very unique.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one of the things, you know, everybody wants to know, what tobacco is this? It's brown. What kind of tobacco? It's brown tobacco. Because it doesn't matter. Because the main thing you look for is who made the cigar. Because that blender will blend to a certain taste.
A flavor
certain,
profile.
A certain flavor profile. But that blend is going to change every year, depending on how the crop comes out. He's going to buy different tobaccos to make that cigar taste the same. So what you look for is the taste you're looking for. And then don't worry about what's in the cigar. Worry about who made it, and you know how it's going to taste every time.
Okay. So the Oz, what pairs with this?
Oz Family Cigars, Caratoba.
The Caratoba, Oz Family Cigars, Caratoba.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. Yeah, gonna be one of those where I'm sure you're probably gonna try and thief this bottle out of here or go buy one. And
Well, yeah, I'll have
try
to.
and-
I mean, I gave it a blue, so I got to go buy one.
yeah, and you're gonna try and figure out how to pair that up because it's not quite porch sitting weather.
No, but I do have a smoking room that's air conditioned. So
There you go.
I can do it in there. Or go to Mr. Lester's.
Yeah, you can smoke there.
Yeah.
It's the only restaurant in the state of Louisiana. Geographically, it's technically in its own sovereign country because it is on the
Yes.
Chitimacha tribe land.
Right.
But it's the only place where you can smoke inside because they have a smoking lounge
Right.
in the
With
restaurant.
the big wingback chairs that are comfy.
I loved that one of our sessions we did at Mr. Lester's when we were sitting with the chairwoman,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Miss
and-
Melissa.
Yeah.
with Miss Melissa, and someone posed the question to her, why do you let people
Yes.
smoke in here? She said, because we can.
Yeah. And she loves the term chairman, right? So Miss Melissa does an absolutely fantastic
Very
job
nice.
of overseeing things.
She
Very
does.
nice
Yeah.
lady.
She does.
Fantastic. And Burley, that might have been one of the best answers to a question we've ever asked on this show, which is why do you do this? Because we
Because
can.
we
Yeah.
can. And
Because they can't stop me.
She then went on to point out that they are, of course, the sovereign nation
Yeah.
of Chitimacha and whatnot. And she thought that it would serve best with their clientele, and it gives people something very unique,
Yep.
which is to be able to go and have an exquisite dinner like we've done there several times now, to be able to sit in a cigar room and smoke and eat and drink in that environment. It's pretty special, actually.
Yeah,
It really is.
I absolutely agree. It's incredibly special. We're going to make that jump to one of those next topics when we think about things that are special, because there is something special going on right now. And apparently this is the right thing to talk about. It's not always the easy thing to talk about. One of the big topics that, again, Burley, I'm so glad you're here because this brings us back to that OG show. Renee, we were talking before we started recording about show 1, which we actually lost in the archive because we had to make a switch, and we don't have that show anymore.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't exist. We can't get it. It was a 1-hour show. We did the show live.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, one of the things that was driving the conversation was not just the Epstein files, but it was the fact that the 2016 Russia collusion narrative was a hoax. Because we had documentation. We knew the documentation was out there. What they did to Michael Flynn, Admiral Rogers, who verified to Donald Trump in 2015 that he was being spied on. I mean, all this stuff. Take that back. It was 2016 because it was after the election. We had all these things and all this documentation that was out there. Here we are, 9 years later. 9 years later. And the rest of the world is only now just starting to see some of this and really understand some of this. You had the Durham investigation where even he came out and proved that it was started by the Hillary Clinton campaign and they passed it on to the FBI and DOJ. I mean, you've got all this stuff. And there are a lot of people who say nothing's happening. Trust me, prosecuting some of these people is going to be difficult because you're talking about big names. You're talking about names like Comey, like Brennan, like Clapper, like Clinton, like other people who were in that very famous meeting in the Oval Office with Barack Obama and Joe Biden. I mean, you've got a lot of big names.
Wait. Donald Trump. New York had no problem arresting him.
I don't disagree with you,
And
Renee.
so why is it such a big deal
So here's
to go after and investigate and indict these guys?
Here's why.
Our
Because
sitting president was arrested.
I
He
get
wasn't
it.
a sitting president at the time,
A
but he
former
was
president.
a former president at the time who was arrested by
So-
a state.
So here's why I say you have to do it right, because they didn't do it the right way. They went after him for trumped up stuff. Forgive the pun. What he is going after them for is absolutely factual. And how do we know? Because today, and please don't believe me on this, please go look this up. It's on multiple media sources. The DOJ announced that they found thousands of documents about the hoax in some back locker in the FBI buildings.
And they were in burn bags.
They were in bags designated to be burned.
Yeah.
Burley?
Yes. But if you follow that particular story, then, and again, whether or not it's plants to shift that narrative,
Could be.
they're saying we're never going to hear more about it or we're never going to see them. It's just, oh, look at this. Look at this shiny object right here is what they're claiming. Now, Kash Patel, I think, is a stand-up guy.
Trying to do the right thing, I think, with him and Bongino.
thing.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that that's the case, but that's how they're already spinning that story, is that it's a little smoke and mirrors.
Now,
right
see,
now.
here's why I think we might actually see stuff happen. And it's an I think here. I would love to say that I know. I'm not making this prediction. But here's what I do know. We were talking about this in 2020. We were talking about it. This happened in 2016. So this happens 9 years ago. Somebody, someone, some person at the FBI 9 years ago was told, put stuff in burn bags and bring it to this particular location. And one of two things happened. Either those bags just happened not to get burned by sheer luck, or
They were stacked.
what did somebody do? Somebody put those bags there on purpose, knowing they would not be found. Knowing that someday when the political climate was right, they might be able to walk in and go, hey, have y'all ever looked in that closet way back in the back on the 47th floor of whatever building? Well, there's a closet back there. Yeah, we should probably go look there. I was walking through there the other day for some reason, and maybe we should go look. And it looks completely innocent, but it comes out maybe at the right time, because we're hearing more about that, and that's why Trump is calling for Obama to be prosecuted because of that.
I would venture to say that the person assigned to put that stuff in burn bags realized and wanted to do the right thing, because normally when you put government documents in a burn bag, it's burned immediately, because it's in a burn bag because it's classified, different levels of classification, but it's stuff that needs to get destroyed, and that stuff is destroyed pretty regularly. So I would dare to say that that person is like, no, this isn't right. So they hid it.
Yeah.
And that's what they did.
They'll probably end up dead next. So.
Well, yeah, you'll never hear from them again.
Well, I mean, notice we haven't heard anything from Ghislaine Maxwell in the last week or so. I mean, like, all of a sudden she says, I'll testify, and then nothing.
Well, she's trying to cut a deal, though.
I don't blame her.
She wants immunity to testify.
I thought she just had an interview or something.
Okay.
That's what she was.
They did interview her.
Okay.
There was allegedly an interview where apparently she gave, in my experience as a former news reporter, the way these things go down is when somebody wants to make a deal, the prosecutors usually go, well, how do we know you have anything of consequence? We're not going to make a deal. And they will sometimes make a contingent deal. The deal is contingent upon the information you giving us resulting in XYZ.
Right.
A case this big and high profile, a case where if she were to go testify in front of the United States Senate, a Senate committee, which is what she's talking about, I mean, that's nationally televised when she does it. At that point, you got to make sure before she sits down that she doesn't pull a Freddy Five Fingers and go, I just said what the prosecutors wanted me to say, right? They told me what to say. I just said what they wanted me to say. And his brother sitting in the back of the room with Michael Corleone, right? You don't want that to happen. So you need some sort of information. You got to give me some nuggets first. I think maybe those names were some nuggets. And now she's saying, I'll testify to everything if you give me immunity, bring me here. This is what I want. And she's got her wish list.
Send me to wherever Epstein is so we can,
Right.
get back together again. And
Put me in witness protection with my boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Why is she taking the fall?
okay. It seems to me that a lot of people attached to this have been unalived
yeah.
already.
Or your favorite term, Arkancided.
Yes, they might have been Arkancided. That might be a reason
Yeah.
to keep your mouth shut.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean,
I would say so.
yeah.
we can go down the rabbit hole, and I saw this week. I almost sent the story. because I was like, it's a great study in suicides and commonality that we've seen. Right? I mean, there was a very specific number of people back many years ago, I say a few years ago, and it gets you into the Chris Cornell, it gets you into the Chester Bennington, there were like 12 people who were hanged all by a doorknob with scarves. I mean, that's a deep rabbit hole, right? That's a deep, deep rabbit hole.
Yeah, just like Kurt Cobain.
Well, no, Kurt Cobain was shot in the head.
Well, right, but it's a rabbit hole.
But it's another rabbit hole, yes. So when we start going down maybe why you cut a deal, why you are taking the fall for this, there are actually another theory in this that she was always the mastermind. That Epstein was just kind of the front, the face man.
He had the money, she had the brains.
No, well, the money was technically in his name. She was always controlling everything.
She
had the brains.
But she came from a wealthy family too, though.
Oh, well, her
dad was
this is
some
a deep
big
rabbit hole.
Publisher of
Her dad was Robert Maxwell,
yeah,
who was a massive publisher, who was funded by and well known to be a member of the Mossad.
yeah.
I mean, it is not a secret. Go look up Robert Maxwell Mossad, and let me tell you,
So
don't do it on Google because you won't get all the info. You go through all the other stuff and you will.
Isn't coming from some, shabby, money family.
Well, and the big
or
question,
who is not connected.
the big question was always, where did Epstein get his money from?
Yeah.
Because Epstein was a math teacher at a prep school in New York who went from being a math teacher to being a hedge fund investor whose only client was last name Wexman, who was also the owner of Victoria's Secret.
Yeah.
And that empire, only client, hundreds of millions of
How
dollars.
do you go from a middle school math teacher to a hedge fund manager who's making stupid money by making great investments?
Please don't believe me. You ready for me to tell you?
Go ahead.
Take a guess who hired Jeffrey Epstein to be the math teacher at that very prominent New York prep school. Take a guess what his last name was. If you can get the last name, Renee.
Maxwell.
Nope.
No.
Nobody at the bar?
No.
At the bar? It was William Barr's father.
Really?
So U.S. Attorney General under Donald Trump, William Barr, his dad was the one who hired Jeffrey Epstein as the math teacher before he went to go be a hedge fund investor out of nowhere.
That made billions of dollars and bought an island
And
had jets and fly rich and famous all over.
That's our implicit bias. Catch more after this break. Revisiting the big, beautiful bill on Implicit Bias Radio. I'm your host, Kevon Bordelon. Hour 2 is always more fun. What, Tug? Did I jump the cue there, or are we good?
Oh, no, I'm just hanging out.
Okay. All right. You threw your arm up and I'm like, whoa, what would I do? He was scratching his head, Renee said. Yeah. Okay, so
What is Kevon talking about?
we are going to revisit the big, beautiful bill. And I know the crew here in the TSPL is like, that's not even a story. Oh, but it is. So the big, beautiful bill funded a lot of spending. Not a fan of all the spending that it funded. I get potentially why it
Kevon,
did. What,
I gotta
Renee?
correct you. It's the big, beautiful law now.
It is.
Yeah.
It is the big, beautiful law. Correct. But it funded a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
There was one specific thing that it funded that was kind of like, the effort might be temporary, and once the effort is done, where is all this money going to go? What are we going to do with all the money that was put towards ICE? Does anybody remember the level at which ICE was funded in the big, beautiful bill?
No.
It made ICE the third highest funded paramilitary organization in the world. Like Sandlot forever. Like ICE now has more money than basically every other country in the world except for the U.S. and one other country as far as the U.S. military and that military goes.
You mean they have more money than the IRS agents, the 87,000 IRS
Well, some of it got
agents
shifted, which is beautiful.
Oh, okay.
That's why it's a beautiful law now, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, but you look at ICE had a very big job to do.
Well, they still do.
With the millions of people that Biden let come in, ICE has got to go find those people and ship them back out.
So here's the question. Who here in the TSPL is going to work for ICE? Because ICE,
I'm too old.
Kathleen,
Look, don't tip me with a good time, but I've done my time. I'm not
too-
going back.
former
I'm
law
too old.
enforcement,
Yes.
Kathleen, the real deal Terrio, which, by the way, if you're trying to sell a house, I'm just going to say this.
Or if you're going to buy a house.
If you're going to buy a
Yeah,
house,
buy it.
sell a
Sell a
house.
house.
she'll find it for
I know the markets are rough out there, but follow her on social media because it's closing another house, putting another family in a house, putting another family. And I'm like, apparently other realtors just can't do what she does. So
Oh,
congratulations.
thank you.
Congratulations.
Appreciate
Okay. But
Shameless plug.
to stray away from that, we know where some of that cash is going now in ICE because
The bonus.
it's a signing bonus to go to work for ICE. 50 grand to
Is that
sign
per
on.
person?
Yes.
That's insane.
Kathleen's like, my husband's in law enforcement. I can farm him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I need him at home. These 2 kids are kicking my ass. Ooh, what? Sorry.
That's okay. You're good.
But hell, do you have to be prior law enforcement?
I don't-
I might be interested in it.
I don't think you do. I mean, if you think about a 50 grand signing bonus,
Yeah, but think about it.
it's tough work.
Look at what these guys are going through. Guys and gals are going
Yeah.
through right now. I mean, they're blue. Well, yeah, they're all blue cities, the sanctuary cities. They're actually putting out notices whenever ICE is going to do a raid.
Some are, and it's
to
usually
just
people.
interfere with the raid.
Yeah.
And I mean, these ICE agents, they're getting shot at. They're getting stuff thrown at them.
It's probably
It's not
honestly one of the
easy
last
work.
Places I would want to be. One of the last.
You just think it's that
departments.
difficult? I mean, you got to think a lot of
Right
people.
now.
A lot of the people they're trying to go get are people like MS-13 gang members. I mean,
Correct.
these are
the worst
not
of the worst.
Yeah, these are not good people who came across the border. And I'm not saying that mistakes don't get made. I'm not saying that there aren't people who have been here illegally that haven't done necessarily anything. But if you're painting with a broad brush, that 80-20, 90-10 rule, the people that ICE are going after, literally, and there's, don't believe me, this is a deep rabbit hole. Go look this one up. They were paid to come here.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how it stopped as soon as USAID was shut down, which makes me wonder if USAID was taking our tax dollars, funneling it through NGOs, and getting people paid to come here to do this. If you think our enemies don't want bad people within our borders causing chaos, we're naive.
I mean, the Soviet Union always said that they were not going to overtake us. We were going to be overtaken from within.
Yeah, by ourselves.
It's
And
the,
from
it's
us.
and it's happening.
and if you look at the battlefield that it would be in the United States, if you're going to try and invade the United States, first of all, from Canada, that's really hard because the majority of that border is not easy terrain.
No,
It is not passable
and
terrain.
it's in the
to
middle of
invade.
nowhere. There's nothing.
The Mexican border, as borders go, isn't that big geographically for the rest of the world. The only other borders we got are the Pacific and the Atlantic,
Yeah.
which mean that you either got to come in by boat or by plane. And our air defense is good enough that it makes it really difficult. But if you start from within and you go inside out, I think you're seeing a lot of game theory that makes it much easier than people thought.
And if you look at where most of the people were coming across, California, who is mostly unarmed, especially Southern California, Arizona, which is barren desert in that part of the country, New Mexico, barren desert, even Texas, and that part is mostly desert, not a lot of people. People don't come in on the southeastern United States. You notice that?
Well, that's because
Why is that?
Because it's the SEC, and the SEC averages about 12 guns per person.
Yes,
right.
exactly.
I mean, that's why
We're probably better armed than most countries.
As the Japanese said in World War II, you will never invade the American mainland with military force because behind every blade of grass, you will find a loaded rifle.
Yeah.
What's the average size of a nation's army?
Oh,
Any idea?
I do not. I don't even want to
Yeah,
try that.
How many people in our military at any one time right now, active service members?
Ballpark, call it a couple of million. I think
Okay.
probably 2-3 million,
Okay.
Yeah,
maybe
if
at
you're
most.
looking at all the branches, yeah, probably.
Just for
For numbers,
blips and giggles,
Yeah.
so to speak.
ring the bell. I like that.
Um,
Kathleen
I
jumped.
stumbled.
Like she was-
I stumbled across this thing on Netflix about Area 51,
yeah.
a documentary on Area 51
Okay.
with this guy who had a spoof Facebook page.
Oh, I remember this. Yes.
Okay, I'd never heard about it.
Invade Area 51.
But
yep.
I saw this story, and within days, 1 million people
Showed up there.
signed up for this event that he falsely created and showed up
That is a great analogy.
in mass.
That overwhelms many armies of many countries on the planet.
And the theory was, dude, it's a military base. They're like, there's so many of us.
They can't
what are
stop
they
us
going
all.
to do?
Yeah.
And if you think about it, that's scary.
It's incredibly frightening. It's
Now,
incredibly frightening.
if you looked at the people
that
that
showed
were
up.
showing up.
They weren't
They were
fighting
wearing
hard.
tutus.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and
And alien masks.
ladies had
Yeah.
beards and dudes had on dresses.
Yeah,
But it's crazy.
it is. Kathleen, you wanted to chime in on this. I saw you looking for the mic.
I Googled it. 1.31 million. 1.31
So-
million.
so
active
This guy signs
duty
up.
personnel.
This guy signs up a fake. That's active. Okay.
Yeah.
This guy
active.
signs up, though, a fake event and has basically the size of the active U.S. military show up. I mean, 300,000 is a big number, but 1.3 to 1 million statistically is not that big of a jump.
Right.
That is insane. And here's the bigger thing. So think about this. The population of the state of Louisiana,
4 million.
4 million, right? We know this, 4 million.
How many guns?
How many guns in the state of Louisiana?
10 million.
So say that fighting age, if they had two males, call it 24 to 60. Because if a 50-plus year old's got to fight, right?
I'm out of that.
Renee, if we kept that at 90, you'd have been good.
Yeah.
All right. But if you go 24 to 60, say that is 25% of the population.
Yeah.
So that's a million.
Oh no,
That's
I'd
a
probably sell
million.
more than that.
That's a million with multiple rifles, multiple pistols per person, and probably, if you average it out, thousands of rounds of ammunition
Oh, yeah.
per person.
Oh, yeah.
That is just the state of Louisiana.
Yeah.
Then go to Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma. You run that gambit, Kentucky, Tennessee. I want nothing militarily with trying to go door to door in that atmosphere
Yeah. Nope. Not gonna happen. Wouldn't be prudent.
at this juncture, right? Just wouldn't. Would not.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to wrap up this segment. Come back. Penultimate segment of Implicit Bias Radio. Having more fun in hour 2 in the Mr. Lester's Top Secret Podcast lair. Implicit Bias Radio rolling on here. The penultimate segment. That is the second to last segment of every show. We are having tons of fun. You're probably wondering where Walker is. Walker Griffon, the Implicit Bias Pledge now. I guess he's active in the fraternity that we are here, the family that we are. We actually have a new member. You'll never see him. He's actually the guy running all the video stuff here. His name's Harley. So Harley, hi. Thanks for being here with us and showing up to make this Implicit Bias Radio recording happen. All right.
Walker's in Witsec.
No, Walker is not in Witsec. Walker is enjoying life to its fullest, living his best life somewhere else, not doing anything. Which, you know what? Cheers. Congratulations, Walker.
He should at this age.
Yeah, he should at the age that
With
he's
his
at.
Crocs and his.
And his short shorts. I don't even want to talk about
No,
it.
it's not Crocs. It's slides.
Oh, the slides.
Yeah.
That's right. Not
It is
Crocs.
slides.
Slides.
Well,
You
they're-
said short shorts, not me.
Slides.
They're like-
slides with his short pants tuxedo
Yeah.
and the action figure. It looks so much like him.
Yeah. Okay. So this story is one that ties into doing the right thing, not the easy thing. And we mentioned in the monologue that, a lot of times faith will help you do the right thing because usually it is really, really, really hard. Sometimes it is just crushingly hard in life to do the right thing. And if you don't have the right faith, it'll sell you out. Your faith will, is what I mean. Funny story we came across. We'll give credit to MSN on this story. This is one that I don't think even they could mess up because it is so allegedly cut and dry, it's not even funny. When your faith is placed in the wrong place, bad things happen. Everybody remembers. Well, I say everybody. We know Renee remembers. Everybody here probably, including Kathleen, might remember. Well, Renee might have forgotten it already. Burley and I definitely remember. Everybody should have that image of Jimmy Swaggart burned in your head.
I have sinned against
yes.
you.
Yes. Right?
I forgot it
When-
and remembered it.
And those tears.
Yes.
Yes.
When he got caught, I believe it was having an affair. He was spending money on, if I remember right, it was spending money on hookers.
Yeah, on airline highway.
I mean,
not
he had
not a great and
he had a university for crying out loud. Now look,
he had a in Baton Rouge, he was the second largest user of paper in Baton Rouge Parish. The only one bigger than him was the state of Louisiana.
well,
He sent out more stuff and had his own zip code, his own post office.
yeah, I believe that. I mean, he had a massive operation.
Oh, it was huge.
And again, we are all trying to be Catholic. We're all trying to be Christian. The only perfect one of us to ever walk the planet, we put to death, right? I mean, think about this. That is who we are as a species. And then you come across this MSN story where a pastor and his wife got booked on fraud. Now, it's funny because we were having a conversation before we started recording the show about crypto and not believing in it and all this stuff, and that kind of doesn't factor in. What does factor in is that this pastor and his wife had apparently bought a ton of crypto with the contributions that were given by their congregation, and then claimed that God said he should sell it at a profit because it got to a point where he was making a bunch of money, sold $1 million worth of crypto for he and his wife to take vacations. I wonder if they're hanging out with Walker. Well, not now.
Well, yeah. And what is wrong with that? I mean, I'm sure he gets a salary. I'm sure he's allowed to take vacations.
So
did the crypto belong to the church or to him?
Sometimes it's not what you do, it's how you do it.
Well, I always said crypto is evil anyway, so that should tell you that right there. But
Renee, you still walk outside and yell at clouds. I don't want to hear about crypto.
Remember Reverend Ike?
Reverend Ike, no.
He was a black pastor out of Chicago.
Okay.
He was probably one of the first nationwide preachers. Reverend Ike would do stuff like, God told me Reverend Ike needs a new Cadillac, so everybody send me $1.
Okay, so
and he would get dollars sent to him to buy him a new Cadillac.
You are proving my point. He didn't deceive his congregation as to why they were contributing or what they were contributing for.
Right.
More than likely, that's the problem. The problem isn't that he said, hey, we're going to use this for the betterment of this. I use this. This is part of my salary. If he'd probably allotted that $1 million as part of his salary and told people this is what it goes to and gave his disclosures as he's supposed to, not a big deal. More than likely, he said it was infrastructure for the church and instead used that money to pay for his vacays.
Well,
but he said God told him to do that. That's what he said. God told him to use that money.
Freedom of religion will only get you so far.
You know,
all I'm going to say.
Look at Jim and Tammy Baker.
So here's the next question I have. Does he have documentation that God told him that? Because if he doesn't have documentation,
does he have a recording?
He heard it. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, therein lies to me the biggest issue, right?
Correct. Yes.
Which is, I'm sure you can structure a business and say, hey, I'm building this business, donate this much, and this is what I'm doing with the money. And if I put out there on something like a GoFundMe or something like that, I need $150,000 to fund this vacation, and people give it for that reason.
Then there's no problem.
No problem.
Yeah.
But it's the deceit and then saying that God told you to do it.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
Therein lies the issue.
So be upfront with your deceit.
That's the hard part.
Well, and don't say God did it or God made you do it or God told you to do it. I think that's
it's like Flip Wilson used to say, the devil made me do it.
Well,
I think this is worse.
I think it's worse. Burley,
This is worse. Oh, sorry.
You had a thought.
Well, I was just thinking, you know, when people donate to those mega churches, let's just say, right? And I hate
We're not disparaging Christians or other branches. No, I know where you're going. I know how you feel, Burley.
But there is a lifestyle that those men and women,
those
I guess,
pastors,
tend to live that you don't see in some of the more traditional faiths, i.e. Catholic churches.
Which, to be fair, go look at some Catholic churches, and some Catholic churches are, I mean, if you've ever been to St. Peter's in the Vatican, it is, when I say opulent.
And opulent.
And I mean, there's some churches in Lafayette that are kind of opulent.
They are, but the
there's some that aren't.
The priest himself is essentially a pauper.
Yeah.
I have several priest friends.
Yes.
We have them on the show.
Yeah.
They are dear friends of ours.
Yes.
And they truly live a pauper's life.
Yep.
Agreed.
And these guys who are able to do it through media and other things without a strict set of rules.
Correct.
The deceit comes in where people are essentially donating and or giving because of their faith. And I think they get upset when he uses those funds under the guise that says, well, if I invested in this, then because I made that investment, then the investment then becomes mine. The profits then become mine. And it's just, the optics just aren't good.
Again, for example, if you took part of your salary as the pastor and invested your salary, it's one thing. If you took the church funds, and this is probably where the line gets drawn. If you took church funds and invested it and said, hey, I was the one who made the smart investment, so it's mine now, that becomes issue.
Correct.
You know what else is an issue? The finger. The 1 minute finger from Aaron in the corner. Tug is running the board since Walker's on vacation with this couple who apparently spent millions of dollars. We'll be back. Final segment of this week's episode of Implicit Bias. You know, I'm going to say this guy's name, and it's going to take me back to the late 80s, early 90s. And I'm going to think, Doo-Doo Brown, right from the song. No, this guy's name is Julian Brown. Julian Brown, famous YouTuber, disappears. Now, thank goodness, he is #marked safe by his mother. But does anybody know what Julian Brown, I sent the story out. Anybody know what Julian Brown gained some internet fame for? And I'm not going to say massive internet fame, but enough internet fame to be worried about. Anybody catch this one? Renee?
Yes.
What was it?
He converted plastic to crude oil I guess you could call it crude oil.
He converted it to fuel.
Well, he converted it to crude oil that had to be refined.
And then he refined it to fuel.
Yeah.
On his own, like at home.
Yeah. I watched that video. I don't believe it. I think it might have been made up.
Here's the funny part. When I sent the story, it was a big deal that he was missing and nobody could find him and all this. So right before the show, I was like, we need to check up and see if we had any updates. And there were updates that his mom marked him safe, found him. He hadn't been heard from for 2 weeks.
He was vacationing with Walker?
He might have been. He might have been. He might have been on a really nice vacation with Walker and apparently a pastor and his wife.
Yeah.
If you didn't get that joke, go back and catch the last segment anywhere where we broadcast Implicit Bias, whether it's on Apple Podcast or Spotify. By the way, thanks to all our subscribers. Please make sure you listen to the show. Go get our weekly whiskeys. Have fun. Enjoy a drink for us. So the update to the story is that his mom found him. But Grok fact-checked the story. Mm-hmm. And what was really interesting was, according to the AI that likes to do fact-checking, it says, this is a well-known process. This process is not new. This process has been around for a long time. The only issue with it is, if you don't process it right, it can produce some extremely toxic fumes. That's the big problem.
Like refineries don't do that already.
Well, they do have to go through EPA processes and things of that nature. But that gave me a few questions. So first of all, he has been on social media. Julian Brown has said, I'm being threatened. I've got all this, right? And it makes you question the source of the information. So first of all, he claims to have invented it. It's been around for a while. Second of all, does it help him or hurt him if he goes on social media and says, people are tracking me? What happens to him?
People track him.
He gets
a lot of hits and he gets, YouTube videos and money.
And guess what? People get paid on those videos.
Right.
It happens.
Well, I mean, it just comes down to the fact. You don't think that the chemist who invented plastics out of petroleum know how to undo plastics to make it back into a usable liquid that we can reuse in something else?
So do me a favor, ring the bell, Burley. Because that really is the question.
They know how to do it. They can do it. They just might not be able to do it cost effectively.
Well, it could be
where they can make enough. They can make what they think is enough money on it.
The question isn't, can they make it cost effectively? The question isn't, can they make it where they think they make enough money on it? What's the real question here? Anybody at the bar?
Well, then it cuts the income from the oil.
They can't make more money.
Make more money from the oil and petroleum.
Correct. They want all of it, right?
Right.
Well, I mean, be honest with you. These guys are in business to make money.
Fair.
If they can take plastics that they've already made and make petroleum usable cheaper than they can pull the oil out of the ground. If they can do it cheaper, then guess what? That's what they're going to do.
They would do it.
It's cheaper to pull the oil out the ground
That's the point.
to do that. I mean,
let me tell you a quick story.
Yeah.
Years ago in my prior life, I had a paper shredding company.
Reincarnated?
Right.
Yeah.
A paper shredding company. Pretty successful. One of the biggest in the state. All right. we shredded and then recycled paper. And at the time, towards whenever I sold the company, the paper market was skyrocketing. Okay. Recycled paper was a big commodity.
Okay.
Traded and sold. A lot of it was going overseas. A lot of it was used internally in the States to make recycled paper products.
Yeah.
One of my largest clients happened to be, I'll keep it very vague, a petroleum-linked company.
Okay.
One of my larger clients. And we were doing a very large project for them, and the suits were going to come check out the process.
Okay.
So as I had my guys working, I was visiting with the suits. There were 4 or 5 of them literally wearing suits while we're sweating and doing our thing. So I was telling them about our process, about how we shredded everything on site, how safe and secure that was compared to sending it off site, and ultimately what happened to the finished product. And I finished the little story with the little song and dance with, and then ultimately everything gets recycled. So, we're actually, and the president of the company, like they all just stopped because he was opening his mouth. And he said, Burley, we're an oil field company. We don't give a think about recycling.
Fair.
And to that point, at that level, they don't want it to be reverted back.
No.
And I know it's paper, it's unrelated to that, but at
They
that
don't want
point,
plastic.
They don't want plastics back to crude oil.
And here's why. Because it would absolutely destroy an entire industry. Think about everything that plastic's involved in. Plastic is in the bar you're sitting at. Plastic is in the microphone that you're using. It's in the mic flag that's there. It's in the sign behind you and the curtains that are behind that. It's in the shelving. It's in the carpet. It's in the flooring. It's in your car. It's in your home. It's in your truck. It's everywhere. If all of a sudden you could start recycling all that plastic, you almost, depending upon the yield, might not need the oil coming out of the ground.
Right.
And I am not here to say that we're running out of oil. We're not. I mean, you cannot... And I know you're going to have people who are going to tell me I'm stupid and I'm crazy. You still, to this day, cannot prove that oil is produced by fossils. You can't. You can prove that oil is inherently present in the earth.
There's theories that oil is continually regenerating.
By the earth. Yes. Right? We call it fossil fuel. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. The point being, if you get rid of that industry, you don't need all those people, all those bonuses, all that stuff. And I'm telling you, if you ever want to see crazy money, see oil money.
Mm-hmm.
Oil money's crazy money. Go look at the houses for sale. Kathleen will laugh at this. Go look at the houses for sale outside of Houston, Texas. It is nuts.
Remember, I'm from Houston and my parents are both in the oil field.
Well, there you go. So,
and we live in Houston. They live in Houston.
So am I lying here?
No.
Am I maybe under-exaggerating?
Yes.
It is nuts what that looks like. So that's why when it comes to this story, I'm skeptical like everybody else.
Yeah.
I think the guy just wanted a vacation, wanted to figure out how to monetize his vacation and get some videos viewed while he was gone. That's a possibility.
Well, that's a misconception that most people have about the oil industry. It's called the petrochemical industry because they take petroleum and they make chemicals with it.
Yep.
And the chemicals make other things.
Oh, I mean,
That's all it is.
You start going and looking at, so, first of all, upstream is oil coming out. Downstream is all the refining process down back to the consumer. And when you start looking at everything that's been done there, it's everywhere you go. It's everything you do. It's everything you use. It's everything you ever have touched in your life.
Yes.
If you are alive today, it's all oil. You know what else it's not, though? It's not an additional minute of conversation. However, if you want to hear bonus content on Implicit Bias Radio, go find us wherever you find your podcast. Subscribe to us, follow us on Apple, Google, Spotify, everywhere, Buzzsprout, and find where you can get the bonus content, which is the unedited, unhinged version of Implicit Bias Radio. We'll do a couple segments there, but if you're not subscribed, you can't get it. So subscribe, support the show, and guess what? You don't have to wait until next week for more of your Implicit Bias. Cheers, and we'll see you in 7.